Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the entire Family Guy house, inside and out. This includes the house itself, the garden, the family car, the living room, the den, the kitchen, the garage, the dining room, the games room, Megs Room, Chris's room, featuring Evil Monkey Closet, Stewies Room, and of course, Peter and Lois's room. The bathroom, this is going to be a long one, buckle up guys. But without any further ado, let's get started. This is the amount of space required to make the Family Guy house. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout this part of the build. We will be cycling through materials a lot as we progress through the house, but I'll show you guys them before we need them. Begin by placing a row of 8 birch planks in a row on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Followed by 3 smooth stone. 1, 2, 3. And then 8 more planks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then extend backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then right by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then place 3 more smooth stone. 1, 2, 3. And then 3 birch planks. 1, 2, 3. We now want to extend backwards by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we want to extend across the back of the build by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then place 3 smooth stone. 1, 2, 3. And then a birch plank, which we now want to extend forwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then right by 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We then want to extend inwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we want to extend to the right by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then forwards by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we are going to extend inwards like this, with the idea that we will be able to extend inwards and then connect back to where we very first started. So the silhouette that we should be looking at is this. With the outline of the build complete, we are now going to start adding details, and we will begin on the front of the build. So first of all, we are going to place a mangrove door on the center smooth stone block that we placed earlier. And then we will surround the mangrove door using red terracotta. Left and right of this, we want to stack 2 rows of birch planks, with an additional row of birch planks extending across the base of the house. We then want to add an additional row of birch planks on the left and right sides, followed by 2 rows of glass blocks. So 1, 2, and then on this opposite side, 1, 2. Like this. And then we are able to just fill the rest of the row, equaling the height of the glass in using birch planks. We then want to fill a further 3 rows above this in using birch. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So the next thing that we're going to do is add oak trapdoors left and right of the 2 windows. So literally just flipped up and down, left and right, just to give the appearance of shutters. That's perfect. Next, we want to place an oak slab in front of the top 2 corners of the entrance. We want to extend them outwards on both sides, upwards, inwards, and up again, just like this, to meet together in the middle. Then, above the 2 ground floor windows, we also want to have another set of windows on the 2nd floor, so tracking upwards from the lower level windows, we want to place a 2x2 square of glass block in the same place as it is down below, with birch planks left and right. We then want to place birch planks along the top of this, forming a box, and then take the 2 middle blocks and extend them upwards to give us this shape. And we want to do the same thing on the opposite side, so 2x2 square of glass above the lower window, birch planks all the way around the glass, and then extend up the 2 middle blocks to give us this. We then want to extend the smooth stone underneath the entrance outwards by 1 row, and then add a layer of smooth stone slabs in front of it to create a gradiated step. Next, work your way to the right side of the build. On this short row of birch planks, we want to add another row of birch planks. Against this wall, a 2x2 square of glass, and then make the rest of this wall equal the height of the front of the build using birch planks. Right of this area, we want to place a spruce door on top of the center smooth stone, then build up birch planks left and right of the door, extend 2 rows above it, place a light grey glass above the door, and then birch planks above the glass, to which we then want to extend the upper birch planks all the way around the silhouette of this particular part of the build. So we're just going to follow the shape of the floor that we have, and then connect it on the parallel part of the back of the build, so just like this. We can then add windows and the door on the back, so the easiest way to do this is by adding an additional row of birch planks first of all on top of the base of this part of the build, and by mimicking the door that we have on the front. So that's a spruce door on the center smooth stone, and then birch planks left and right of the door, and a light grey glass above the door. And we can even extend the smooth stone outwards a row and add slabs in front of the lower half of the stone. And then we kind of follow a simple pattern for the windows. So we have a 2x2 square of light grey glass right next to this door, then birch planks, 2x2 square of glass, birch planks, and then actually coming towards the front of the build as well, we follow this same pattern. We literally just have 2x2 squares of glass followed by a separation of planks as we lead all the way to the opposite end of this room, just like this. And what we can also do, of course, is extend the smooth stone forwards and the stone slabs in front of this. And now that that's complete, we can move on to the back of the house. To start things off, we are going to add a layer of birch planks along the back of this part of the house. So just along the long back row, like this, add a row of birch planks. Then, starting from the left side here, going right, on top of this row that we've just made, we want to place 2 birch planks, 4 glass block, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 birch planks, 1, 2, and then 3 glass block, 1, 2, 3, 2 birch planks, 4 glass block, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 birch planks. And we then want to take all of the birch planks and all of the glass and add an additional row on top. We then want to place a further 3 rows, 1, 2, 3 of birch planks on top of everything that we've made. And if it helps to kind of keep things connected together, it certainly does me, trust me, we are going to then connect the front of the build to the back of the build like this. With the lower level complete, we want to move up to the next level and add windows on the left and right sides of the birch frame that we have placed. And we essentially want to copy the 2 large windows that we have on the left and right side. We want to have the 2 rows of 4 glass placed on top of the frame, with birch planks on the outer part of the glass and also in between as well. So we just want to have something which should look like this. We then want to move to the right side of the build, and first of all we have a garage. So this garage, if we start on the front right hand corner here, we want to move backwards 1, 2, destroy this block and place, well, in the ground I'm going to place a smooth stone and then place the spruce door so that we don't have to replace it later. But on the front of the build, we are going to leave a gap of 2 on the left and a gap of 2 on the right and destroy the 4 center blocks. We then want to stack 3 rows of smooth stone upwards like this, in between the 2 diagonal rows of birch plank. What we then want to do is stack up rows of birch planks on the left and right sides of the smooth stone, connect them together across the top like this to frame the garage. We then want to add an additional row of birch planks along the top of this, and then extend towards the back, and then back inwards as well, like so. So we are creating a frame for the garage, which we will later fill in using birch planks, and we will also make the roof. But I kind of just want to plot out all of the details, which leads me onto the side of the house here. We want to place a birch plank here on this left birch plank with a spruce door next to it. We then want to place a layer of birch planks extending forwards to the front wall of the build, and a 2x2 square of glass in this corner here. We can then just fill in around the door and also the small window that we've made just up to the top of the frame like this. But we also want to add smooth stone in front of the door, left, right, and then smooth stone slabs in front of the smooth stone, like so. We've reached the point where we should start adding some roofs. So, come to the right side of the build, and on top of this horizontal row of birch planks that connects the front and the back of the build together, we want to start stacking rows of birch planks that are 1 row shorter than the previous row, until we eventually hit the point in which we have a pyramid shape. So we're actually not too far away from that. And on this right side in particular, once we have reached this point right here, we want to add a chimney. So if we follow along from this block right here, we can even place a dark prismarine stair just to make it easier, right? So we want to, from this block, move left 1, 2, move inwards by 2, and then place a red terracotta, and then extend back, left, up a couple of rows, and this is the shape that we want to have. And with that placed, we can now come onto the opposite side of the build, and we can just start stacking up rows of birch planks that will eventually form a pyramid shape. And not only do we want to do that to the main roof, but the garage has a roof as well. So we want to, on the left side here, stack rows of birch planks up in a pyramid shape like this. And then coming over onto the opposite side of the build, we want to do the same thing to this den area as well. So just literally on the right side of this, stack up rows of birch planks until they form this shape. And then, last but not least, although this is a little bit different than all of the others, we will be placing a layer of dark prismarine slabs along the top of this flat section on the back of the build. The slabs will also extend one row forwards and outwards like this, just like so, and then we will extend that original layer up and in and up and in and up and in until it eventually connects to the next part of the roof. So that pretty much covers all of the roofs. And now that we've made all of the framework, we can actually build the roofs. With the roof complete, we are now going to add the final details to the house and patch up the walls. So, why not start on this front left hand side of the house? I ask to myself and also you, rhetorically. So, we have windows on the front of the house, right? On the second floor. Well, if we follow these around, the positioning of them, and we place these windows in the first available space on the side of the build where we won't clip into the roof, this is where they belong. And we want to have an equal set on the back of the build as well, which we can achieve using the same method or by following this front window along. We want a 2x2 square of space that isn't impeded by the roof. And we want to do this on the opposite side of the build as well. So we find this window, follow it around, 2x2 here, and also on the back as well. So we can use this window on the back of the build. We don't have to use the front set. We can just follow this around, 2x2 square here, and then fill in with glass. And speaking of filling things in, we want to fill in all of the walls using birch planks. We can even fill in this internal wall on the right side of the build using birch planks. This is essentially going to separate the living room from the den. You don't have to worry about being too precise with all of these walls, as we will be moving inside of the house at a certain point and all of the imperfections will become clear if there are any. Next, we want to add a birch button to the main entrance in this position. And then, starting from the left side here, we are going to add green terracotta, pretty much orbiting the entire outside of the build, slotting in between all of the various entrances, like this. We will actually leave this little bit alone here, but continuing along the back of the house like so, and kind of just connecting to the back corner of this garage. What we then want to do, starting on the left side here, is extend up these green terracottas up and forwards where we have this small window. And similarly, where we have the windows on the front of the build, we want to extend the terracottas underneath the oak trapdoors, and then to the sides, and then forwards like this. So kind of leaving a cutout for the window. We want to do this on both sides like so. And then when it comes to the right side of the build, we want to extend the blocks that are below the windows and up like this. And then on the right side of the build, we want to do the exact same thing for each one of the windows, and also the back of the build as well, where we have the windows once more. And then finally on the back of the build where we have the large sets of windows, we also want to do the same. So they're not a standard size, all of these hedges, they are all dependent upon the windows that they are sat next to or underneath. Next, we want to create a path that leads from the front entrance all the way to the outer part of the grid. So this pathway is made using smooth stone. It is 3 blocks wide to assimilate straight into the path, and we are also going to knock out 2 entire rows, left and right, of the front of the grid here that will form a pavement. But not only will it form a pavement, but we also want to kind of blend it into the driveway as well. So there's a lot going on at the front of the build here, but on the right side we can just pretty much fill all of this in using smooth stone, but on the left side we have to be a tad more selective. So the way that it works is over here on the left, we basically want to have from the garage door all the way to the end of the grid here. So that is going to be made out of a different material, which we will add a little bit later, but for now we also want to add a mailbox in the corner of the pathway here on the left. This is a spruce fence, red shulker box, and a flipped down oak trap door like this. This is also a good time really to figure out the boundaries of the house. So The left and right boundaries of the house I'm going to make using green terracotta, leaving a gap of 2 from this path. Green terracotta will be placed extending all the way along the back of the build until we eventually reach, well, the actual back of the build here, where we want to have a couple of rows of spruce planks that will form a back fence. So it's hedge on the left and right, starting and ending in the same place, and then along the back of the build, as I mentioned, just 2 rows of spruce planks. And with the boundary sorted out, we can work all the way to the back right hand corner of the build and we can grow a tree. So this tree, it kind of sits on the right side of the build. You'll notice that we have like a pathway that leads us from the front to the back. So it kind of sits in the middle of this path and simultaneously kind of like in the middle of the back garden. So probably about here-ish or so. It doesn't have to be too precise. And then we can grow it with bone meal. I would have preferred a slightly bigger tree, but I am not that picky. Coming back towards the front of the build, we are going to replace this empty space here using stone slabs, and then dig backwards towards the garage entrance, like this, and we are going to fill this area in once it's been dug out using stone, which will then allow us to make the car. We are going to build the car on the drive. It actually doesn't matter where you place it specifically, but I am going to place mine in the middle of the drive, and it's going to sit kind of like just in front of these hedges here. So I'm going to place a furnace right here in this position, left and right of it red concrete, black concrete behind the red concrete and red concrete in between, 2 rows of red concrete behind those rows, with then black concrete on the ends of the next row, red concrete in between, 2 rows of red concrete extending backwards like this, stone buttons on the sides of the wheels, like so. We then want to place red concrete on top of the back set of wheels. We then want to place red concrete on the back corners of the car, glass pane in between those red concretes, and then in front of the front set, like so. So actually, we will even extend the window a little bit forwards like this so that it sits just behind the front set of wheels. We can actually hollow out the center of the car, and basically what we're going to do is place a spruce stair here, here, and then behind, this is kind of like empty boot space. So we could place a grey carpet back here to act as an empty trunk space or boot space. A cauldron would work. What would also work is just separating these seats a little bit and having a floor mat in between. You've got loads of options. It's kind of up to you how you want to lay things out. But regardless of all of that, we are going to place red carpet on top of the bonnet like this. We want to place acacia buttons left and right of the front corners of the car, with string on top of the internal parts of the car like this, which will then allow us to place red carpet all the way on top of all of the glass and then the internal parts. So this will form the roof. That's looking pretty good. And then I like to have tripwire hooks as door handles. We'll need both item frames, the red stained glass pane. So tripwire hooks I like to place just in front of this back pair of wheels like this. And then we are going to have on the front of the car, glow item frames. And you can even stick glass pane in those as, if you like, just for headlights. And then on the back of the car, we are going to add regular item frames with red stained glass pane in them. And that's it, the Griffin family car. Now, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, I would recommend replacing all of the grass surrounding the house with lime terracotta, but that's just a personal preference. It's up to you whether you want to do that or not. I'm also going to use my old pal World Edit, which I would recommend getting if you don't have it, if you can. So much easier than digging it all out. Oh, also do remember to destroy the white parts of the grid on the left and right side of the build if you did indeed build the grid in the first place. One last thing before we head inside, I actually don't like the position of the chimney, so you can leave it where you like if you want, but I'm going to move it 2 rows to the right and 1 row backwards. And then I'm just going to destroy the original chimney here, fix the roof, drop these blocks 1 row down, and I just like the look of that a lot better. It's a lot more understated. That's my preference. Feel free to leave it as is. With all that done, ladies and gentlemen, we have actually completed the entire outside of the build. So what we can do is pack up all of these materials into this chest, and we can move on inside, where we will find a whole brand new set of stuff that we need. Here are the materials that we are going to need first of all. This is going to allow us to build the structure on the inside of the build, so that we are then able to decorate it. To begin, we are going to lay out all of the outlines for the rooms. So first of all, we want to come to the front door, right of it, on the ground, extend this birch plank backwards by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now this goes in 2 directions. We go all the way over to the right and we go all the way over to the left, like this. What we then do is leave a gap of 1 in the ground, and then we place another row of birch planks that is parallel to it, like this. This creates a hallway. Then we want to separate the back of the house the same as we did the front. So imagine this row right here, it leaves a gap and then it just goes all the way through. So that gives us a shape that should look like this. So this hallway that we have created here, this direction actually takes us into the garage, so we can just leave that open. But over here on the left, this would just take us underneath the stairs. So here is where the entrance would be into the hallway. It's parallel to the front door, so just opposite. And the entrance into this room right here is kind of like a computer piano room. This has to be left open as well. And then if we come over to the right, we want to pretty much leave the exact same amount of space. So from this wall, we want to leave a gap of 1, have an entrance here, and there is also an entrance from the living room into the kitchen, which is this area here, which, once again, we leave a gap of 1, and then we want to have a doorway. So the split looks like this. And now that we have done that, we also want to access the den area. I think that it's a den. I'm not quite sure what you'd even call it, but the den area is all the way over here on the right. We leave a gap of, basically a gap of 1 between this wall and this entrance, and it might even be greater than that. We might have to change it later, but then this gives us access to the den, and you can just leave that nice and open if you like. That wall does belong there though. So in laying all of this out, what we can now do is also add all of the flooring materials. So flooring material number 1 is going to be the garage. We actually have to dig out all of this lime terracotta that I world edited in earlier. This is going to be polished andesite. The rest of the main part of the house is going to be cyan concrete, and then the den area is going to be yellow concrete. It's also worth mentioning as well that the garage does drop down 1 row, so we did have to dig out that area, but the floor can be placed directly on top of the lime terracotta otherwise. And there we go, that's perfect. So the next thing that we are going to do is just place all of the doors, because I just think that will help a little bit. So the doors, I'm going to place them so that they're kind of like this way, so that they open from the rooms and not from outside, if that makes sense. And we are going to place them everywhere that we would enter. So like I said, there's actually quite a few rooms. So the 4 main areas in the hallway, the garage, and then the den. And then we just have to build, oh, and also allowing us access to the kitchen as well. So we then want to build up the walls around this. The walls are going to be 3 rows high, and they are made just out of birch planks. So 3 rows high, and then we can start adding the ceiling. In certain circumstances, like where we have the garage area here as well, you can just seal up the entire wall. And do also remember to connect over the doors as well. There we go, that's looking pretty good. And as I may have mentioned earlier, this hallway here, this doesn't go anywhere, this is just underneath the stairs, so you're probably just going to want to like leave a block or so and then just seal this area off, because it doesn't really serve a purpose otherwise. And we do also want to leave enough room, so if we come to the actual living room area here, in this corner is a staircase. So the staircase actually begins right next to the den door. We have a spruce stair here, and then we want to chunk out some of these stairs. So we have a spruce stair, build up some spruce planks behind, like this, a couple of them. And then against this wall, we want to place 1, 2, and then 3 spruce stairs extending up. So what we then want to do is make the ceiling for this. So the ceiling for the entire ground level, and the ceiling and the second floor are 2 different things. We want to just seal up directly above the walls using birch planks. Also, just leave a couple of rows just behind the spruce stairs that we placed that will take us to the second floor, because we have to actually be able to get back up here as well, and we can just seal up above here as well. Basically, as long as we can walk up and above and inside of this, then that's all good. So now that we're upstairs, we have to lay out the rooms again. It is completely different to downstairs, so this requires a whole new set of walls. So grab your birch planks, and either side of the staircase, extending from the wall, we want to place rows of 7 birch planks, extending inwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can then extend these stairs upwards so that they are equal in height to the birch, and then place 2 pink concrete behind the stairs. That's perfect. So the reason that we've done that is that we are going to have a different floor on the second level. So that's why we have the birch just 3 rows above everything on the ground level. That allows us to have another floor situation up here, so we can be more true to the design of the build. Anyway, for the back row here, the back row of birch, we want to extend backwards by 2 rows. So the end of this row, 1, 2. We then want to extend left by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then connect to this back wall, but we also want to connect the original row, giving us kind of like the number 4 extending backwards. We then want to take this corner here and extend this forwards by 3, 1, 2, 3, extend all the way to the left, but also extend forwards by 3 as well. 1, 2, 3. We then want to extend right, connect back, and then we want to connect these two corners down towards the front of the build. So this might seem a little complicated as I've been explaining it, but if we take a look at it from this view, I mean, hopefully it makes a little bit more sense. So anyway, next thing, we have to fill in all of the rooms, which is a little bit more complicated than downstairs. So let's start with the back right of the build. We want to fill Meg's room in using light blue terracotta. We then want to fill Chris's cupboard in using blue terracotta. We want to fill Chris's floor in using purple terracotta. We then want to fill Stewies' room in using magenta terracotta. We then want to fill the bathroom floor in using pink concrete. And we also want to fill the hallway in using pink concrete also. And finally, Peter and Lois's room is going to be made using purple terracotta as well. So, extending from Peter and Lois's room is also a small closet. So, it's actually right in this corner here. I think that we can place it. Or no, we can't. I don't think that we can place it. That's unfortunate. Actually, there is a way to do it. So, if we place a birch plank here, right, just on the end of the stairs, that gives us enough room to walk up and down. And then if we connect the walls together like this, right, that will allow us to place a door here. So we still get to have the closet. We're not really going to place anything in it, but it just allows us to have the closet and be a little bit more true to the design. I also want to add all of the entrances to these rooms as well. So this is Meg's room, right? This is where the entrance is. Let's add the door. This is the closet for the evil monkey, essentially, so we're going to replace these two blocks here with the blue terracotta and then place a double door here. Chris's room entrance is opposite Meg's, so we want to just destroy that and then place the door in this way. Stewie's room entrance is going to be right against... It's actually right here, which is weird, so it's right here. And then, what colour is that? Is that purple terracotta? No, it's not. It's magenta. It's hard to see in the dark, but the door goes here. The door for the bathroom is right in the middle, so that will go here. And then that just leaves us this this gap here, which is going to be the door. And we'll get a lot more light up here eventually, by the way, guys. But that's kind of like the floor plan. And similarly with downstairs, we now want to raise up all of the walls to be 3 rows high. And then we want to basically just install the ceiling. So it's going to be 3 rows high. They're going to connect above and around the doors, and then that gives us a nice empty blank canvas that will allow us to make the rest of the... that will allow us to add all of the details for the rooms. So let's focus on raising up all of the walls first of all, and then we can focus on the ceiling. So clumsy. There we go. We can now start decorating each room individually, and for every single room we are just going to grab a brand new set of items, even if we would have had those items previously. So, a fresh new item list. This is everything that we will need to make the living room. So now that we have all of that, the first thing that I want to make is the TV. So the TV is situated right here next to this door. We place a spruce plank, 2 upside down spruce stairs, and then a spruce plank like this. We then want to place the biggest painting that we can above it, with spruce buttons in front of the planks. We then want to leave a gap of 1 in front of this unit, and then place 2 rows of orange concrete extending in front of the TV stand. We then want to leave a gap of 1 and then place purple stairs in such a way that we create a sofa, so 2 sideways ones on each end, or 1 sideways one on each end, with 2 in the middle. Then, underneath this window here, we want to have 2 more purple, and we also want the same on the opposite end of the rug. Yellow banners are going to act as curtains left and right of this window right here, and then we are going to place a lamp, a floor lamp, next to this seat here. So that's 2 end rods with yellow glazed terracotta on top. We then want to stack 3 1x1s, paintings, right next to the lamp here on this wall. And then, underneath this, we want to grab the jukebox, black shulker box, flower pot, poppies, and that'll do just for now. So right next to this is a jukebox, black shulker box, and then we're going to stack a plant pot on top of the shulker. Perfect. Then, on this wall right here, we want to have, it's basically just a little wall unit, a little table. So the spruce stairs and slabs. We then need an item frame, lantern, and then paintings once more. So we leave a gap of 1 from the door, upside down sideways stairs, spruce slab, upside down stairs right next to this. We then want an item frame on this table, lantern, and then we want a couple of 1x1s just above here. So there we go. That's absolutely perfect. And believe it or not, that is the entire living room complete. So the next room that we are going to work our way into is going to be the den. For the den, we need all of these materials right here. So to start with, we are going to place some waxed, oxidized cut copper stairs, which is the only time that I'm ever saying that, right here next to the front entrance. We want the exact same on the back of the build as well, so these are just parallel to the one. Why can't I place these properly? These are parallel to the ones that we placed on the front, like this. Then, in the middle of this wall, we want to place the copper stairs once again, and then we want to turn it into a sofa by adding an additional one on each end. Then, you know what, we actually need to add a ceiling to this. It didn't really occur to me that we missed this part out. It's kind of nice having like a nice big open roof, but we do have to add some birch planks in the same position that we added them to the rest of the house, just so that we can hang all of the things that we have to from the ceiling. There we go, perfect. So what this then allows us to do is add lanterns just next to the entrances on... Actually, we'll add it, because this is perfectly centered in the room, lanterns this side, and then we'll do the same here. So not next to the entrance, but in the middle of this wall, and that's just so nice and illuminating. In this corner of the room, we want to place 2 spruce planks here, one end rod on top of the first spruce plank with an orange glazed terracotta on top to make a table lamp. Then on this wall here, we have a couple of light blue concrete, hopper on one, and then a flower pot on the other. So this is kind of like a weird garden room slash den. Like there's watering cans and like gardening supplies sometimes. The room also changes and shifts a lot as well. So it's kind of like a mystery room if you like. And now that we've completed this, we are going to work over to the kitchen, which is just connected to the living room right here. Here are all of the materials that we will need to make the kitchen. So, the first thing that we will make in the kitchen is kind of the outer surrounding units and all of the appliances. So we want to leave a gap of 1, destroy that, leave a gap of 1 next to this door here and place 2 rows of 3 iron block extending up from the ground. Stone buttons in between, and then an oak plank next to the fridge freezer, then a furnace, above the furnace on the wall will be a stone stair. We then want to place an oak plank next to the furnace and then extend right here across the front of the house. We also want to place oak planks on the wall just in between the extractor and all of this, and we can also place spruce buttons in front of the cabinets. We then want to leave a gap of 2 here, and then we want to place 2 oak planks in front of this wall, extending across. Extend 1 forward, cauldron, and then another oak plank, tripwire hook above the cauldron. We then want to place oak planks above the cauldron and this unit here, and then we want to place spruce buttons in front of the upper oak planks. We then want to place an item frame here. Also, we want to place a block of iron here. This is going to be a microwave, so we want an item frame in front of this. And we also want a block of iron here on this wall, so kind of like opposite everything with an item frame in it. And now we just have to add a bit of decoration to this. So on this corner here, we want to place a brewing stand and a flower pot, a white banner above this unit here. We want to place a black stained glass pane inside of this item frame, and then spruce stairs here in front of the fridge, leave a gap, spruce stair. We then want to place 2 rows of pink concrete in front of and in between these stairs, and then against the corner of this table here, a spruce stair and a warped stair here. So these are 3 regular seats, and then we have Stewie's high chair. We can even place an additional stair here, but I mean it's a little bit cramped in the kitchen. It's not too usable anyway, but we also want to place a light blue glass pane in front of this. This is either a dishwasher or a washing machine off the top of my head. And then we have a couple of paintings, literally just a couple, so 1 painting here and here, just like this. And this room's actually quite dark, so I would recommend adding a lantern like this on this table somewhere, maybe just like in the middle like this. I think that lights it up nicely. And now that we've done that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that we will work our way into the garage, because why not? And before we do get things started in here, I think that once again we are just going to add a ceiling to this, and this will just sit directly above the garage door. There we go, and let's just add a lantern right about here or here. There we go. I don't think it's going to get in the way over here. So, alright, let's grab the stuff. Here are all of the materials that we will need to make the garage. So first of all, we are going to add a stair right here. This connects us back to the main house. Along this back wall, we have kind of like a tool hanging workbench sort of thing. So it's basically a 3x3 square of light grey concrete with a shulker box in front of the bottom left hand corner of it, a couple of iron trapdoors extending across, and then tripwire hooks up the left side and item frames on the right side. And then there's a bunch of hanging tools over here on the left, so this is just going to be tripwire hooks all along this wall, and then item frames underneath these, and then I'm just going to occupy these frames with different tools. So there we go, that's literally it for the garage. It's nice and simple, and now that we've done this, we can head over into the... I believe this is a dining room, technically. The problem with some of these rooms is that sometimes in different episodes they look different and they vary from season to season, so... Here are all of the materials that we will need to make the room. So, first of all, I'm just going to hang a lantern above this doorway to make it a little bit brighter in here. Then, some bookshelves against the right wall. So this is going to go from floor to ceiling and sit in the center of the wall. If you want it to be a little bit cleaner, we can just occupy the whole wall. We then want to, in the middle of the room, place oak planks like this. So we want to have 2 rows of 3, and it kind of sits in the middle of this occupiable wall. Then around the table, we want to place spruce stairs like this, leaving a slot open for a warp stairs, which is a high chair. Then we're going to cover the table with a tablecloth, and then add paintings just above where the table is along this back wall. And that's pretty much it. Nice, simple dining room. And now that we've completed that, there's only one more room to make on this level. Actually, wait, guys. We missed something crucial. Curtains. So we need to grab yellow banners and place yellow banners here, just in front of this window, and there we go. Almost forgot that. Moving back into the final room, which is kind of like a piano slash computer slash games room. Here are all of the materials that we will need to make the room. So first of all, we're just going to hang some curtains just either side of each one of the windows. And then, against this wall right here, we want a really simple piano. So we're going to use a couple of looms here, leave a gap of one in front of the window, flip up some, or down, some oak trapdoors above the piano, end rods in front, and then red carpet on top of the end rods. We then want to place a row of 1, 2, 3 spruce planks here, so leaving a gap of one between the piano against this back wall, a block of iron on top of the center, stone button on the right, and then we want to have an activator rail on the left. We need a painting to act as a screen. That is not a painting, but we want to place a solid block underneath here. There we go, so a painting. And then we want to grab mangrove stairs and place a stair here, just in the middle of this computer table. And then on this wall here, we want to place a mangrove stair, a loom placed to the side like this, and then another mangrove stair opposite it. And this is meant to emulate either like a chessboard or like some sort of checkerboard or something. It's not quite clear from the reference I use what it is. And then in the center of this room there is a rug. So the rug starts underneath the stair here, and then dig to the left by 2 and to the right by 2, forwards 2, across the back, and then connect. And then we want to place blue terracotta in a ring, and then fill the center in using the light blue terracotta. And that is the room pretty much complete. The last thing that you might want to add possibly is, say, like just a lantern just above the door, and that'll keep things nice and bright. But in doing that, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually completed all of the rooms on the ground level, so we can now work our way upstairs, and we can get started up here. So one lantern right here should probably sufficiently light everywhere, and I don't see why we shouldn't start in Meg's room, as we pretty much like started here when we were building all of the walls and such. So the materials. Here are all of the materials that we will need to make the room. So first of all, we are going to seal up this area here. So we're just going to connect these birch planks down to the ground to make an alcove, which we then want to place bookshelves in front of the top of this, spruce trapdoors underneath, pink beds underneath this, like so, and then extending from in front of the left bed, a light blue concrete, string in front, light blue carpet, light blue concrete, and then in this alcove here we want to place 3 light blue concretes with a stone button in front of the first block here, and we also want to place stone buttons in front of these 2 singular blocks. We want to have pink carpet on top of the non-buttoned concrete blocks, and then we want to grab pretty much every single other block that we have, and then we want to place an end rod on top of here with a yellow glazed terracotta, and the same over here on the right. We then want to have a painting on this wall here right next to the door, a 1x2, that is perfect. We want to create a rug on the floor, so this is made right next to the door, 1, 2, 3, 4 blue carpet, extend back 2, across, join, cyan carpet in the middle. We are then going to create, we want to place a flower pot here, and then we need to create a banner. So this is going to be loom on the ground, white banner in there, light blue dye, add a border around it, and then hang this off of the wall here, just above what is essentially a dress slash I'm getting tongue-tied here, a desk slash dressing table, and this is pretty much the entire room. So that is pretty much the entire room, and now that we have done that, we can come across the hallway here into Chris's room. Here are all of the materials that we will need to make Chris's room. So, first things first in here, we want to add a side table in this corner here, a bedside table. So this is a spruce plank right in the corner, spruce sign on top, end rod on top, yellow glazed terracotta on top of that. A double lime bed extending to the right of this, and we also want to kind of seal this area up using birch planks. In addition to this, we actually want to place birch planks here as well, which kind of throws off the closet. So we want to destroy this. We want to shift the closet over one row, then add a ceiling to it. We also want to add a backing because there's no reason for it to be that deep really. And then we want to replace this terracotta here, and then we will add a double door in a bit. So now that we've kind of altered that, we want to, leaving a gap of 1 in front of the nightstand, place 1, 2, 3 spruce planks extending forwards, jukebox on top of the end plank, and then a set of bookshelves above this, with a 1x1 or a couple of 1x1 paintings above this stand here. Then, opposite where we have this alcove, we want to grab the oak planks. We actually also need block of iron as well. Black concrete, grey concrete, stone buttons, painting. We also need spruce stairs, and actually that'll do for right now. So in this alcove we want to place oak planks like this. On the left side here we want to place a grey concrete with a black concrete on top, and we want a stone button underneath, and then a 1x1 painting inside of this space. In the middle of this desk area, a block of iron, 1x1 painting, and then in front of this, a spruce stair like this, and we can even place a stone button here, and as this is a computer, maybe like some sort of keyboard, like an activator rail or something to the left of this. And then we want to have a 1x2 painting, so this is going to be a little bit trickier, isn't it? A 1x2 painting on this wall right here, and we also have to add the doors back on, so we need spruce door. We also need a loom so that we can make a banner, and we also need an armor stand and the leather, well, and we need some leather armor as well. So the reason that I want to, and you know what, it would actually look a bit better, so let's add the door on here first, right? So it would look a bit better if we were to back the closet here with black concrete, because I kind of want to make the, I want to make like a spooky set of eyes that kind of like mimic the evil monkey that lives in Chris's closet. So there's not really like a good monkey banner that I could add in here, so next best thing I think is something spooky. So we want a loom, black banner in there, red dye, horizontal row of dye across the middle of the banner, black dye in there, split it up the middle using the black pale pattern, grab that, put that in the inventory. Let's grab the last of the leather armor. We want to hang this in the back of the closet, and then to make this a little bit like, we don't want, a little bit more subtle, we then want to clad the armor stand in leather armor, and there we go. I think it's just kind of cool. It's a nice little spooky Easter egg, and where is my hat? My hat is gone. There we go. Good as new. So now that we have done that, we have completed Chris's room, and we will work our way to so many choices, guys. Door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. Let's go door number 1. Let's do Peter and Lois's room. Here are all of the materials that we will need to make Peter and Lois's room. So, first of all, let us make the bed. So, the bed is going to be right next to the window here. It is a double blue bed. Left and right of this, we want to stack oak planks with oak signs in front of them, and then end rods on top, yellow glazed terracotta on top of that. By the way, there is a closet here, as you guys might remember, and we're just going to stick an end rod in here so that we can, you know, hang something in there, should we so choose. Then we have to seal up this ugly little bit of wall here using some birch planks, just like this, and we will do the same here on this side. We then want to bring this, actually, we don't have to. There we go, that's a little bit better, and then we'll seal up just underneath this window. That is so much more pleasing. I don't know why I didn't do this in the first place, but in doing this, we can then add an upside down oak stairs, left and right inside of this alcove, oak slabs in between. We want to stick a chest on this side of the table, and then a lantern on this side of the table. Then opposite the bed, we want to have a unit, which is made out of spruce planks, black concrete on top, and then a 1x2 painting just in front of this to act as a television. There is like there's a couple of paintings on the wall here, I do believe, as well, just in this corner. There's also one above the chest here, And there is also a double chest or an ottoman or it's something just on this wall here. It's like a storage device, so we can't just use a double chest because, you know, why not? Oh, and there is also a painting above said double chest too, so just one here on the left, and yeah, that's looking pretty good. Oh, we do also need a seat for the table, so this is an oak stair, just, you know, somewhere along the middle really, maybe more so this side of the room. Here. Yeah, there, that's perfect, and we just want to place oak signs left and right of the oak stair. That's perfect, and now that we've done that, that is Lois and Peter's room complete. We can head, you know what, we're going to head across the hall actually, and we can do Stewies' room. And how did we miss this? There is I guess Stewie's now got an ensuite / open plan bedroom, so we just want to seal up this wall using the birch planks. And inside Stewie's room as well, we're actually just going to seal up this wall as well. We might end up altering this a little bit because there are some bookshelves and stuff, but we'll start off with a similar design as we had in Peter and Lois's room. So if we start off with this, I think this is a bit cleaner. But here are all of the materials that we will need to make Stewie's room. So the first thing that we are going to do in here is we will change this a little bit. So we can actually knock out these 2 rows of birch, place blue concrete on the bottom, bookshelves above these, extending up, so just literally replacing the birch with blue concrete and then bookshelves above, and then warped buttons in front of the blue concretes. Flower pot, just here, extending outwards diagonally, this is a little bin. And then in front of this window, 2 end rods stacked on top of each other with a white glazed terracotta to form a floor lamp. In front of this, an acacia stairs, leave a gap of 1, place an acacia slab. Against this wall, place an acacia stairs. Then we will be placing a painting here later, but I don't want to grab it quite now. Along this back wall here, we want to have a... it's just a table really with a mirror on it, so a couple of oak planks here. And I guess we do probably just have to grab some materials. And are we missing the painting? We're missing the painting. We always have to forget something with these rooms. So let's grab the painting, lantern. We'll need a loom, white banner, brown dye. We'll also need white carpet, spruce planks, spruce buttons, and that might be it for the immediate future. So spruce buttons in front of the oak planks, with a lantern on top of one of these. We want to have a 1x1 painting above this little table here. And then we want to throw down a loom, open it up, place a white banner in there, brown dye, and then brown bordeaux pattern. Basically the brown dye all the way around the edge. And this is a mirror that we just want to have stacked either against this wall or maybe just on the unit here. And then there is also a changing table. As Stewie, as you might forget, I do, is a baby. So we need a changing table in front of this bookcase here. That's a couple of spruce planks, spruce buttons in front, and white carpet on top. And then we want to make his crib, which is a light blue bed, oak trapdoor, yellow banners, and that might just be it. So against this wall here, right next to this door, light blue bed, yellow banner on the end of the bed, above the back of the bed, and then oak trapdoors left and right of the bed just flipped up like this. And that will be Stewie's room complete, which leaves but one room. The bathroom, which first of all I think that we are kind of like in similar fashion to the other rooms. I'm not sure if we want to seal up the end of this. I think that we are. We're just going to make a nice blank canvas here just with birch planks. And now here are all of the materials that we will need to make the bathroom. At the end of this room is a bath, so we want to place a sideways smooth quartz stair, then a regular one faced inwards like this, and then a sideways smooth quartz stair like so. So this is like a really tiny bath. We want to place a tripwire hook above the end here, and then stack end rods like this to create a shower curtain just above this, connecting the 2 walls together, with light blue banners stacked on top of the bath to make the shower curtain. So this is the shower curtain rail, shower curtain, bath, tap, perfect. So leaving a gap of 1 between the end of the bath here, we want to place a cauldron with a birch trapdoor on top, and then a 1x1 painting above the toilet. Then next to this, we want to place a light blue concrete stone button in front, tripwire hook above this. We want to then grab the loom, pink carpet, white banner and light grey dye, and we're going to throw down a loom, open it up, white banner in there, light grey dye, add the border pattern around this. We then want to place a couple, or actually just one pink carpet in the middle of the room, maybe we could occupy the entire floor, or some of the floor, maybe this half of the floor using pink carpet, and then we can hang the banner here just up above the sink. And I mean, that's kind of the whole room complete. That's perfect. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the entire Family Guy house completed. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.